Let's consider this question on the board. Please pay close attention. Okay? It is very important you understand this because a lot of students struggle with this question on the board. Okay? Let's get started. Copper reacts with oxygen to form two oxides, X and Y. On analysis, 1.535 gram of X yielded 1.365 of copper and 1.450 gram of Y yielded 1.160 gram of copper. Determine the formula of X and Y. So if you look at this question is actually talking about law of multiple proportion. Law of multiple proportion. And law of multiple proportion states that if two elements combine to form one chemical compound, then the mass of A or the mass of one element which combine with the fixed mass of the other element are in simple multiple ratio. Okay? Now, let's determine the formula of X. How do we determine the formula of X? So, for us to find the formula of X, the first thing we need to do is, we know the mass of the oxide. The mass of the oxide is 1.535. So, let's write formula mass of oxide is 1.535. Okay? Now, next thing is mass of copper. We write mass of copper. Mass of copper. Mass of copper is also given, which is 1.365. 1.365. Okay? Now, let's look at mass of oxygen. It is not given. So we are going to subtract mass of oxide. We are going to subtract mass of copper from mass of oxide. So mass of oxygen is equal to the mass, this minus this, which is 1.535 minus 1.365. So by the time you subtract, you will have 0.170. 0.170. Okay, so let's calculate the number of moles of oxygen. Number of moles of oxygen. Number of moles. Oxygen. So the number of moles of oxygen is the mass of oxygen over the molar mass, which is 0.170 divided by 16. Okay, and that is equal to, by the time you divide this, you have 0.011. Okay, now let's also calculate the number of moles of copper. Number of moles of copper. Number of moles of copper. The same way, number of moles of copper is mass of copper, mass given here, over the atomic mass of copper, which is 1.365 divided by 63.5, which is the atomic mass of copper. And that will give us 0. By the time you divide this, we give you 0.0211. 0.0211. Okay? Then the next thing you need to calculate is, having calculated this, okay? So now let's calculate the mole ratio. Mole ratio of copper to oxygen. The highest ratio over the smallest ratio. That is equal to 0.0211. Let's do it here. 0.0211 over 0.011 ratio 0.011 over 0.011. Okay? So this will give us 2:1. So copper is 2, oxygen is 1. So the formula is Cu times 2 is Cu2. Okay? Then O times 1 is O. So the formula for X is Cu2O. The formula for Y. Formula for Y. Formula for Y. We have to follow the same method. Mass of oxide first. Mass of oxide. The mass of oxide of Y is 1.450. 1.450. Okay? Then mass of copper. Mass of copper. Mass of copper is 1.160. 1.160. All right? Then from this, we are not given mass of oxygen, so we have to subtract mass of copper from mass of oxide. So mass of oxygen is equal to 1.450 minus 1.160. So that will give us 0.290. Okay? So we move on to calculate the mole ratio of oxygen. Mole ratio. Number of moles of oxygen. We have not gotten to mole ratio. Number of moles of oxygen. Number of moles of oxygen. Number of moles of oxygen is the mass of oxygen divided by the molar mass equals to 0.290 divided by 16. And that will give us 0.018. All right? Then let's continue. Number of moles of copper. Number of moles of copper is equal to 1.160 divided by 63.5. And that will give us 0.018 if you press your calculator. Okay? Now, mole ratio of what? Copper to oxygen. So we have 0.018 over 0.018 ratio 0.018 over 0.018. So that will give us 1:1. Okay? Now, CU times 1 is CU. Then O times 1 is O. So the formula for Y is CuO.